Mic check. Whoa, I think that's a little loud. We're going to go tone it down. A little too much. How about now? No. How's that sound? Hitting the yellow bit. How's that sound? Mic check. Mic check. 1 2 1 2. You want beef with the king? What is you gonna do? When I come up on the scene with a two guns drill and you and your friends play a little 2-on-2. Is anybody out there? Can you tell me if I'm being loud or not? I think I'm being a little too loud. Oh, wait, wrong way. There we go. I think that's good. Am I even on the right channel? Let's check it out. All right, sweet. I'm live. Cool. What's up? What's up? All right, cool. Volume sounding good now? There we go. I played around with it a little bit. Bit more? Turn it up a bit more? How about right here? How about that? Does that sound good? Mic check 1 2 1 2. My name is Driver Ed. I have a big head. And that's a rhyme. And that's what I said. That was weak. You know I got bars. You know I got bars in the pocket. I just don't know if I'm ready to share it with YouTube right now. You know I could hit you with the 2-syllable piece up. Sound good? Awesome. Thank you very much. Well, welcome to the first official edition of Free Camera Friday. For those of you who don't know, I am on a never-ending quest. Not a never-ending quest. It will be an ending quest. I'm on a quest to get 5,000 copies of my book, internationally known, locally disrespected, The Unbelievable Stories of Driving Uber, out into the world. And what I want to do is run these lives every Friday to try to promote the book. And in doing so, I'm going to be giving out a free dash camera every Friday. Today, we have the Redtiger F17 Elite. I don't know if you guys saw the time-lapse test I just posted, and I will play it here. It's honestly like, you know, there's always not haters, but there's just always negative Nancy's in the comments like, oh, this is a commercial, yada, yada, yada. I get a ton of dash cam companies that reach out to me all the time, and, you know, as weird as it sounds, like I am, you know, one of the, I have a lot of experience with dash cameras. Like I feel like I may not be like a leading voice in the space, but I can tell you this, any leading voice in the space I could hold a conversation with because, you know, I know, you know, maybe not as much technical stuff as they do, but I would venture to guess in like, you know, the whole world, the amount of people that have used dash cameras, the amount of dash cameras and like actually practically use dash camera footage, I'm definitely in the 1%. So that said, I know that you guys respect my opinions and recommendations on dash cameras. So when dash cameras reach out to me, I turn down 99% of them. I'm only going to put them in front of you if I think it's a good recommendation. That said, Redtiger reached out to me, the F17 Elite. And the thing about this camera that's absolutely amazing is that it offers full color night vision. So, you know, I'll jump ahead. I'll let this time lapse play. But, you know, I held up my hat here to see, like, this is, you know, daytime, right? I'm right in, that's like, you know, that's the blue, that's the red. It's looking like at nighttime. This is at night. You're still getting like decent color, you know, like obviously it's not like the brightest whatever, but like you feel like you're like, that's what it would look like if you were sitting in the car next to me, you know what I mean? Like, and that's just absolutely insane. So yeah, I was really excited to put this time lapse together. And then I'm actually doing a review video, you know, if you want to know more about the dash camera on tomorrow, I think it's going to post. But all that said, today I have a camera to give away And the way I'm going to run this program or contest, so to speak, is that, as I mentioned last live, is I want people to submit their stories of from Ubering or driving, just stories on why you would want a dash camera, on like instances that happen where a dash camera would have come in handy, and the best story will win a dash camera. And this is all, I don't want to say contingent. Whoa, where'd my chat show? There we go. This is all not contingent, but I'm doing this because I'm going to, I'm learning to be a live shopper salesman. So throughout this, I'm going to try to promote my book. It's really important to me to get this thing out there, and I really think you guys will enjoy this book. And as such, I'm trying to make it as cheap as possible. So if you want to Venmo, I'm doing pay what you want, minimum $5, just so I can cover the shipping. So you're basically getting the book for free. I'm just paying for shipping. I'm eating the cost to print the book. But you can Venmo. There's my Venmo information there. Minimum $5. If you think it's worth more, go for it. But yeah, I'm trying to move. My goal today is to sell 3 books. Get 3 books. So I don't care if it's 3 paperbacks. I got to figure out how to put, I'll put the link to the audio book, or sorry, where's this at? Where's the Amazon ebook, and here we go. So this will be a link to the ebook and audio book. I think I can pin this. Oh, you know what? Maybe I got to go to YouTube. I dropped the cost of the ebook to as low as possible. Apparently you can't make it cheaper than $2.99, but it is what it is. There we go. All right. Link to ebook, and I can't type right now, and audio book. Oh, it's too long. Darn it. Oh, what am I supposed to do? All right, give me a second. Let me think. Well, that's an issue. Copy, paste. How do you? I'm never good at making the thing smaller. Oh well. Well, I'll tell you what. If you want the ebook or the audio book, noteworthy insignificance. You just made my day. All right, here's what we're gonna do. Ebook and audio book available on Amazon. Search. Listen. I'm just gonna keep plugging this. I know what to do. Search. Internationally known, locally disrespected, man, I can't type, I can't spell. Believable stories of driving Uber on Amazon for ebook and audiobook. Boom. All right, now we're in there, and I can pin this baby. All right. Like I said, All I'm trying to do is move 3 books today. So, if there is anyone out there that buys a copy, let me know, and I'm going to keep a counter, and it will make my Friday. So I would really appreciate it. Now, let's get into this. So, as this is going, the camera that people can win by submitting, submit the stories to best-camfootage@gmail.com. I'm going to make a video this week, with a more clear guide on how to enter. Which is why I actually only had 2 entries this week. So, but we got some good stories, and we're gonna check this out. So, as we're doing this, as I'm reading the story, the entries, we got the time lapse test going again. Like, this is just like I started driving. You can see outside; it's still like a little light. I'm gonna start this over just because I really like it. Sorry if someone was watching this. But again, just to know what's going on in the background, I'm doing a time-lapse test of a dash camera that I'm giving away that has full color at night, and I want to show how, even as the sun sets, the color keeps. So it's pretty cool. Man, my chat keeps going away. What's up, deliveries with a unicorn? Noteworthy insignificance. That's a creative name. I already said it, but thank you very much for those kind words. Lewis, thanks for messing with my videos. Vaquero, is that how you say it? You got a question? Let's hear it. All right, and now let's see. Hey, this is a learn out loud situation, I've never done this before, and we're figuring it out. Anyone out there want to buy a book? I'll make my life. All right, Free Camera Friday submissions. Here we go. Oh, you know what? Let's move it. All right. Free Camera Friday, episode 1. Oh, don't need that there. Free Camera Friday, episode 1. I got 2 submissions. Well, 3, I guess, but the 3 is a little, the third one's there's a caveat to it. But it's a fun story. So, these are people who entered in their best stories to win a Redtiger F17 Elite Tri-Vision dash camera, front, rear, and in-cabin full color, as you see the time-lapse going on their left. Entry number 1 from Joe W. Driver Ed, huge fan. Love your channel, and every time I see one of your videos, I tell myself I need to get a dash camera. I don't mean to roll my eyes at that. I just get that a lot. And I roll my eyes because what I hear a lot, especially like people in real life, they're like, man, I really got to get a dash camera. I really got to get a dash camera. And, I've had friends and family and people I meet, people I know tell me that like 4 or 5 times. And it's like, you keep saying it, but you don't do it. And, I would hate for you guys to learn the hard way where it's like, man, I should have had that because, it just takes one time where you're like, the dash camera is one of those things where it's like 99% of the time you're not going to need it. But when you do need it, you really need it. Kind of like a, I don't want to get banned for saying it, but a Second Amendment arm. I'm not an Uber driver, and I can't think of any great reason why I should get a dash camera over someone else. Appreciate the honesty. But I'm hoping because this contest is new, there's not a lot of good entries, and I thought to throw my hat in the ring. Smart guy. I love going on road trips, and a dash camera would be a great way to document the sights I see around the country. Also, I know it isn't a requirement, wink, wink, but I am downloading your audio book now. Hope that helps my chances. Just kidding. Doesn't. No purchase necessary, but it is very much appreciated. I did see another download come through, so I wonder if it was, a couple days ago. So I wonder if it was this guy. Just kidding. I'm excited to listen to it on my next road trip. So, not a great story, but, the guy just being honest. playing his odds, and he's right because there's not a lot of entries this week. So got a 50% chance of getting himself a dash camera. Speaking of, as I mentioned, I wanted to share. Here's the stories we're going to get to. Where's it at? Oh, you know what? It's right here. I want to keep you guys posted. You know, we're trying to get to 5,000 copies, and we're trying to get to 5,000. There's no try. There's only do. We will get to 5,000 copies in circulation. And right now, on the path to 5,000, there's about, I'm a little questionable with this number, might be give or take, but the number of paperback copies that are out there right now are 227, we're saying. I've been numbering every single book I put out, but the thing is, you know, I number it and then I put it in the box. So sometimes the order is a little out of order. I'll be able to get a more concrete estimate. Not estimate. I'll be able to know the exact number once I get through this next box, just because I don't know all the books that were numbered and if it was out of order. But right now we're saying 227 paperback copies are in circulation. My audiobook downloads just crossed the whopping threshold of 50. It's currently on Amazon for $6.99. It's like the lowest price ever in the past 30 days. I don't control the pricing on Amazon or for the audiobooks. Audible does. And then the Kindle downloads, the ebook downloads, are 26. So that puts the total number of books at a little over 300. So, you know, we're getting to 10% of the way there, but just step at a time. So every purchase is more than appreciated. Oh, freaking ad popping up. Should be able to turn off ads on my own videos, you know? All right. Man, I keep losing this chat. All right. So, have I ever been assaulted by a rider, serious or otherwise? I have never actually been hit. What's up, Albert? I've never actually been hit. There was one time, I write about in the story, a person, I will say, because I don't want to spoil the story, a person tried to spit on me. I would like to pretend that I was like, you know, Matrix style, dodging it like the bullet. But in reality, this person just is not smart and didn't know how to spit right. This person swung her head and like the spit kind of like drooled on herself. She just looked like an idiot. This person looked like an idiot. Man, I'm really spoiling this story. Not good trying to sell a book, trying to spoil a story. It's a big reveal. It's a big reveal that I just ruined. Maybe you'll forget about it by the time you get to it. And then there's another time. There's actually a video on my channel called Worst Uber Ever. And there were 4 guys in my car. And it was about a 25-minute ride. And they were just like, they were the kind of guys I grew up with in Delco. They were just looking for a fight. They were out in a short town they were literally trying to pick a fight with random people as I picked them up. And I knew I should have canceled it right away, but I just like, with them trying to pick a fight, I just kind of felt like if I canceled it then, they'd probably just try to, so I was just like, let me just get moving and like maybe get this done. And, yeah, that was a big mistake because, honestly, that was like the scaredest, I would say, I've ever been, because at one point we're like, you know, in these back roads in New Jersey, you know, outside of the short towns, it's a little better now, but honestly, in the summer, it's really not great because there's so many people. The cell towers get overloaded. The point is, we're like in back roads, New Jersey, very little service, totally dark road. And like, I thought there was like, you know, a pretty good chance I was about to get the shit kicked out of me by 4 guys. It was crazy watching the video back. The 2 guys in the back seat were actually like really close to hitting me. And the dude in the middle of the back seat actually had his arms around them, holding them back in case they were about to do something. So it was pretty crazy. And then they got out and they were still talking shit. And, the end of that story, there's like more to it that happens after the fact. I actually write about it in the book. That I won't spoil. That's like a I don't want to say wholesome lesson, but it's just like it's one of those things that just really makes you think about like good and bad and who people are, and you know, getting upset over things or judging people for the things they do. You know, it's just kind of like it was a really perspective shaping thing. It sucked, and like it honestly like we really overuse the word trauma, and like people talk about PTSD like they talk about water, like they just, oh yeah. So I don't want to like make it more dramatic than it is, but it was a very like eye-opening thing about how like easily effed I could be in a situation like that. And it, before, I think any driver would attest to this. You don't, nobody really loves being, nobody loves picking up four random drunk dudes, like the risk that comes with that, and just the way guys work is like four drunk guys filling the car is like probably always going to be the worst combination. Four drunk girls will probably always be the most annoying combination, but like you don't typically feel unsafe when that happens, So four drunk guys is always kind of like, how guys are. It's always kind of like, are you guys is this gonna be an ego thing, or So, but after that ride, it really made me be like, man, if there's four guys, like the first hint of like this is a little off, it's like I want to cancel this trip, because part of it too is like, I don't know if you're a driver as well. Oh, you remember four guys? Yeah. So, part of it too is like you learn quickly. Like, I mean, you see this on the screen right now. It's hard for this guy to cancel this ride while he's driving. If he was on a highway, or like you just can't stop in the middle of the road. And then once someone's in the car, like it's harder to get them out. So point is, if I pull up and there's four drunk guys or two drunk guys, or even just one drunk guy that's like making me uncomfortable, you got to make the decision right away, because it's almost like you either got to like sniff it out and avoid it, or you just got to commit to it, because you can't pick up rides and be like, yeah, I'll see how it goes, and then maybe I'll kick them out. Because like there's I don't even want to say human element, because like, of course there's like, yeah, you don't want to, even if a drunk person's being a total asshole, you don't want to like leave them on the side of the highway because of the bad thing. Like there is the human element, like just, you don't want to be a bad person. But there's also the like purely selfish, like you left a drunk guy on the highway and then he stepped out and got smoked by a tractor trailer. Like, I don't know the legality of it, but it's not a good look. I'm sure there'd be something involved that you did something wrong. The moral of the story is like you either got to decide to cancel the ride to start, or commit. Yeah. Okay. So you're a driver too. So have you ever been in a situation where you felt like you were gonna be assaulted? Oh, thanks, Albert. I think they should have sold well over 3,000, and that's what we're doing. Hoping somebody in the chat downloads a book. I would really appreciate it. If only people knew what they were missing. We'll get it out there. Yeah, I had it under control. Being that you and your wife are part-time, I also assume that, like, depending on when you drive, that's a huge thing. Because if you're not, I don't want to say all, 99% of uncomfortable rides came, after 11 p.m. when people are drinking. Because, if you learn one thing from driving Uber, it's that alcohol is one hell of a drug. Peter Stuber, my friend, if I recall, from Michigan, correct? Dude, that's one of those things I want to, but just the way things are going right now, I don't have the bandwidth. I really want to. That's like, I mean, it's one of my favorite things to talk about. And honestly, the irony of it is, what I would talk about with media theorist is like just how bad social media is. I'm just like, I love YouTube because YouTube's unique, and why I still have YouTube. I recently, let me preface this story with this. I recently deleted all of my socials off of my home screen. I still have the apps, but just not having it accessible has like cut my screen time so much. That said, I still left YouTube on there. YouTube's the only social media app that I still have, because YouTube's the only one that you choose the video. Granted, they're feeding you the videos they think you'll like, and you can be tricked and manipulated and persuaded by thumbnails. But at the end of the day, like, I still feel like I can come to YouTube and I can decide, do I want to watch Key and Peele and laugh? Do I want to listen to a podcast about the Civil War, or a podcast clip, whatever it is? Do I want to, listen to whatever it is, And honestly, I say listen because most of the time I just play it while I'm driving. I like kind of half look at the screen at stoplights. But YouTube feels like the only one where it's closer to TV. It's like I'm choosing to watch TV, where these other apps, and what I would talk about on Media Theorist is like all this research I've done, and I'm sure you guys have heard a lot of it, or you might have heard things like this. It's just like you're scrolling. It's like emotional roulette, You don't know if the next video you're going to get is going to make you laugh, or if it's going to make you question reality, if it's going to like make you depressed, if it's going to make you regret the way you spent your 20s or whatever it is, like if it's going to like try to motivate you. And it's just like a constant dopamine loop that's just like very, very, very bad. So that's why I deleted them, and still kept YouTube, because I don't think YouTube is as bad as that. YouTube to me feels more like watching TV. But if I had Media Theorist, that's what I would talk about if I did that. All right. You've been assaulted. That's why I don't do rides anymore. Long story short, suspect was arrested, tried, and convicted, serving 5 years. Vaqueros. Okay, I'm just the last time I'm saying, sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. Listen, after this live or during it, as Deliveries with a Unicorn +1 said, if only you had a dash cam. Maybe you do. But submit that story to best dash cam footage. I'm putting it best dash cam footage. Whoop, not goodage, footage. At Gmail. And submit the story. I'll read it next week, and I have a feeling that'll be a pretty good, you'd be in the running for the best story to win a dash camera that week. So yeah, submit it, man. That's wild. I want to ask, but I also want to save the story because that's crazy. I'm sorry that happened to you. You know me. I love stories, so I'm just more excited for the story. You brought it up. I'm assuming you're okay now, so I'm just assuming things are good. So let me just say, sorry it happened to you, but I want to know the story. That's wild. Man, and see, middle of the day, Friday afternoon, that's Uber. Like that is freaking Uber. You never know. You absolutely never know. And it's like, it's a wild gig, man. It's a wild gig, man. All right. Entry number 2. But before we get to this, thanks, Aiden. I appreciate it. Before we get to this, did anyone out there... Oh, very cool, Peter. Don't have an account with any other YouTube. Very, very smart. Great dashcam videos. OG Mios? No, what is that, a channel, Albert? Before I read story number 2... I have to plug the book. If we can get, I would love, my goal today was to get 3 book sales. If we could get 1, I'd be happy. You can Venmo, minimum five. All I'm asking $5 for shipping. Pay what you want, $5 for shipping. Venmo's on the screen. Also available as an audiobook on Audible, and as an ebook on Kindle. And you can find that on Amazon, and then you can also go to my website, eddiepdoyle.com, and buy it there. The physical book. But, you know, if you have Venmo, the physical book on my website is $20. Have Venmo, send me $5. There you go. Oh, deliveries with a unicorn. You are the best. You are the absolute best. And I got to figure out a way in the future to get this download link. See, this link right here will get you, if you don't have... See, wait, engage with your audience. I just want to find a way to... I need to find a way to add a link to the chat. Oh, here we go. All right, audiobook link. And that'll get you like a free membership for like 3 months. And for all I care, download. Oh, you're too kind. Honestly, what would help me, download it, write a review, and then obviously listen to it, like make it an honest review. And then, you know, with that link, if you don't have an Audible account, you should get a free Audible account for 3 months. Write the review. For all I care, cancel the membership, you know? It's all it is. But I really appreciate it. That's really cool. Man, I got one. I'm counting that as one download. I appreciate it. And, you know, maybe we can get 2 more before I sign off. That would mean a lot to me. And then also, for anyone who is watching, when this live is done, I'll be able to put links in the description of the live where you can get either the physical book, audiobook, or ebook. Man, I keep my brain's, you know, I'm learning here. Learning out loud, baby. My brother from Boston, how much did you wish? Yes, it is my voice. I did. It was very an arduous task to record that. I've never done an audiobook before, but I feel like I found my stride. I got a little better. You missed one entry for the free camera Friday. And here is the second entry. Oh, and I'm just going to run this time-lapse back because I think it's pretty cool. All right, entry number 2. Full disclosure, I read this, and it's a wild story. I think that this story will either definitely win or it will lose because people don't agree with the ethics of it. There's no in between. You're either going to love this story and want this guy to get the dash camera, or you're going to think that he's a bad person and you shouldn't, and he doesn't deserve it. And I will withhold my own judgment because, you know, make up the mind for yourself. No judgment either way. I can see both sides, as usual. I said name redacted because he had asked to not share his name. You'll hear in just a second. Driver Ed, I missed you live, but I caught it after the fact and saw you wanted stories from Ubering for your dash cam giveaway. I only ask if you share this, you don't share my name or email address. That was a few years. This was a few years ago. I was new to rideshare, so I still had the fairy tale optimism of what rideshare was. I remember those days. You know, thinking that it's a fun way to meet people, and if you were friendly and positive and accommodating, it would help with the gig. I learned quickly that is not the case. This guy is 100% right. It was around Halloween, and in the spirit of trying to be a fun and friendly driver, I kept a bowl of candy on top of the center console for all my riders. Some people took candy, some others didn't, but complimented the idea, and nobody said anything bad about it. Nobody except for one. Good storytelling. A man gets into my car, and after the ride got underway, he asked about the bowl. I explained to him it was just something I did for Halloween. This guy instantly becomes offended. He said he is Muslim and he doesn't believe in Halloween, that it's demonic, and that I shouldn't force my beliefs onto him. I tried to diffuse it. I said it's not a religious thing, but that didn't work. He said what I was doing was wrong and that he is going to report me to Uber. He said that if I didn't get rid of the candy, he will. It was a weird threat because at the end of the day, we're talking about $5 worth of candy, and threatening to get rid of it, it's like, how? We are in a car. Where are you going to put it? Well, he finally stopped his speech and the car goes silent. We were at a stoplight and I heard him putting the window down. I didn't think anything of it. A lot of passengers like fresh air. As the car starts moving again, he grabs the bowl and tosses the whole thing out of the window. I immediately started yelling at him and he started yelling back. I pulled over as quick as I could and ordered him out of the car. He got out, but I was still pretty upset about the situation, especially because he was less than a few blocks away from his destination. So I felt like he didn't even care that he got kicked out. I felt like he didn't even cared. No, typo. So I felt like he didn't even care that he got kicked out. Plus, to come into my car when I'm just trying to do something fun and not only disrespect my property and my space, but to essentially tell me I'm destined for hell because of my actions, all while I'm working a side hustle on top of my full-time job, that pissed me off. I relate to that feeling so hard. I want to scroll up because I don't want to ruin. I don't want you to read ahead to the ending. I know the ending. But I relate to that feeling so hard when you're, I talk about it in my book where a lot of it's like, I'm out here trying to do the right thing. Instead of going out partying, I'm trying to earn a couple extra bucks. And it's like, it can be very discouraging when you're like, man, here I am trying to do something that I think's good and you're going to make my life hell. Now, for this guy in particular, this is even a step further because he's not just trying to earn a few extra bucks. This guy is like literally trying to make it fun and like have candy and like be festive and like in the spirit of the holiday or the season, whatever. And, not only did this guy not appreciate it, which, it doesn't sound like he was looking for appreciation, but this guy did the opposite and absolutely shit on it. So I can fully understand. And on top of it, like he said, comes into his car. Like that's always been the toughest part for me. It's like, dude, this isn't like, you're not yelling at the cashier at Walmart, or you're not yelling at a cab driver driving, a company provided taxi. Like, you are in my personal vehicle. Who do you think you are? You talking to me? Are you talking to me? I don't see anyone else driving here. You must be oh yeah. Oh, what's he say? Not how do you like me now, punk. That's Clint Eastwood. Oh. All right. So anyway, back to the story. So this guy had his candy thrown out, is still pissed off because he felt like the other guy, even though he got kicked out, he was close to his destination. All he had to do was walk a few blocks. And this guy, by the subject of the email, wants payback. And before I say this is not condoned by driver ed or endorsed by driver ed, but it's pretty funny. So I took it upon myself to get even. I wasn't far from home, so I logged off the app and drove home. I had leftover chicken parm in the fridge. I heated it up to make it soft, put it in a blender, mixed in some ketchup and ranch, and got myself a nice little disgusting stew of chunks and color. I had an old floor mat in my garage that I put in my car, took out my regular floor mat, so he just replaced the floor mat, poured my chunky concoction all over said floor mat, and reported to Uber that this guy vomited all over my car. They charged him $250 that went right into my bank account. I know it was not the most honest thing to do, but fuck that guy. Man, I mean, I'm not saying it was the right thing to do, but I'm also not saying I feel bad for the other guy. I don't know. What do you guys think? Oh, hell yeah, Peter, you just got the thing on all. That's 2 books. Yo, let's go. While you guys digest that story, I'm looking for some feedback. Tell me what you think. But man, I'm pumped. This is like, it's like my plan's working. Like I didn't know if anyone would be interested in listening, if this would get people. I'm not. Yeah, I can. I've worked in jobs where I've been a salesman so before. It is a little uncomfortable. I've mentioned it before, like trying to promote my own book. It's like against not what I believe in. It's just like weird, like it's just like, so it's really cool to be able to come on here and not, it's not that I feel like I'm being judged for it, but just like not look a certain way and like actually get people excited about the book. So Peter, thank you very much. And I've said this before, I appreciate you remembering Media Theorist. I really wish I could do more of that. Maybe when I do get to 5,000 copies and then the book blows, because as Albert said, it is a good book, and I know it is a good book, that maybe, if I had a little more time, I'd be able to get to Media Theorist. But, if you read the subtext there, it's just like, it's, these things take time and money and energy, and I just don't have the time and money and energy to, do that channel yet, just because I don't know how well it would do, and, start things up. Things take time, but man, I'm rambling just for you, Peter, but I really appreciate it. That's really cool. Very cool. Let me catch up on your boy. Let's see. Wow, looks like people are not, hating on the driver. So, maybe he is going to be the winner. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put I'll put like a poll on the community tab. I'll get the temperature from the comments. And I don't think it would be absurd to assume, given the reactions, that this guy's story will beat out Joe W. Joe W. Appreciate the submission, but he didn't really have a story. So yeah, wild story. It reminds me of, maybe I can find it on the internet. A woman fakes vomit in Uber to get payout. Here we go. I haven't seen this story. Let's check it out.
The email titled Uber was art and reused.
Yeah, it's actually on Uber.
The image in the back seat, the driver found
Same exact image over to us.
You ever found an old image of?
No, it's gonna happen. I mean, that you don't. That's not made up. She was just reusing the same photo for different rides, which is like, I feel like you get picked up on that pretty quick. It's like wet. That's nasty. But the story that I heard, maybe next time I'll have it for next time. I remember seeing the news story of it. This woman, it was a female driver. I remember that because, there's not a ton of female drivers. And then you wouldn't expect this out of most people. And so, but you just wouldn't, I'm sure you just you get a female Uber driver, and in my experience, it's typically they're friendlier, they're nicer, it's better conversation and maybe this person was different. This is just me probably assuming things that I shouldn't. But anyway, it was just surprising when it came. You would assume that a guy would do this, you know, because guys are a-holes like this. But what this woman was doing is she bought one of those like plastic throw up like things, like a toy, like toy throw up that you would like get as like a Halloween decoration or something like that. And after a ride, she would drop it on the floor mat or drop it on the seat or drop it on the the door or something. And she'd say the customer threw up in the car. And she did it so many times that Uber finally picked up on the fact that the throw up was literally exactly the same in every single video or every single picture she submitted. Like, yeah, it was in different spots, but like, you know, because it's a plastic rubber throw up mat, it's like literally looking at the same toy just in different spots of the car, where that's different than what this guy did, because I mean, he actually took real food, blended it up, and, you know, put it in his car. He destroyed his old floor mats, but like, it's not like, if he were to do that again, it would look different because it was actual food, you know? But yeah, I always think of that story where I'm like, man, that was pretty creative of that woman to think of that. Definitely wrong. But also like didn't think it all the way through because, you know, again, not that I condone this stuff, but maybe she should have bought a couple different, you know, variations of the throw-up toy. She wouldn't have got caught. All right, we got 2 downloads. I got one more story to share, but there's a little caveat for this story. It's not going to be eligible for winning. And then somebody shared a story of I had a stray ride a couple nights ago. I picked up a guy in Providence. Oh, Pravi. I've been up there. He got in the car and started to tell me the guy outside was screaming at everyone and he needed to get out of there. I started telling the guy outside was screaming. Yeah, I mean... Oh, then he tells me he ordered the ride for him. Then he tells me he ordered the ride for him. Sorry, Mark, I don't know who ordered for who. Did he order for the guy yelling, or the guy yelling ordered it for him? Even YouTube, in my experience, is better when you ban channels from the homepage. If they're too crazy or seem bad faith, just click "Do not recommend channel." That's good advice. I'm gonna try that out. Very astute observation, BMF. I do agree. $250 is steep, but yeah. All right, so last story, little caveat. This will not be eligible to win a dash camera, and then I'm gonna have to bounce. Actually, let me make sure. Albert, you'll appreciate this. Got a little tennis date. Let me just make sure we're still on. All right. The screaming guy ordered the ride for him. Oh, yeah, that is really weird. What did you do? Did you take the ride and did it work out? That would be one of those situations where, I don't know if you were on when I was talking about it, but that's one of those things where you got to pull up and you got to decide real quick with the limited information you have. It's like, all right, this is bizarre. Do I do it? And yeah, I mean, still here talking about it, so I guess it worked out in the long run. All right. I got tennis. All right. Here's my last story. Then I got to be out. If we can get one more book sale, let's see. Did any Venmos come through? No, that's all right. You know what? We got 2. If we don't get 3, that's okay. Not the end of the world. But if I could get one more download, that would mean I hit my goal for today. 1 Venmo for the physical copy. And you know what? Like I said, I'll put the links in the description after after the live and after I play tennis, and maybe we can get one more download from there, and then if so, it will unlock the dash cam contest. And by the looks of it, Chicken Parm Man's gonna win himself a dash camera. But here's the last story, and the caveat as to why this is not eligible for the dash cam contest is because, full disclosure, I wrote the story myself. I only got 2 submissions, and I wanted to make sure that there was enough, entertaining content for you guys. Speaking of entertaining, I'll keep the time lapse going. And so something happened, and the dash cam, I actually did not, it's embarrassing to admit, but the dash cam was not set up in the car I was driving. I wasn't in my car. And something happened. And I thought, man, this would have been absolutely perfect if there was a dash camera. And this is a moment that will be missed forever, that could have won tens of thousands of dollars on Funniest Home Videos. I don't know if they still, do that. But this is a moment where, even if you're not Ubering, I love having a dash camera running to capture just fun things like this. It's like always having your camera out to capture the candid moments. It's just like they're the best moments. So all I say is I wrote this story. This happened to me, and I enjoy it. And if you enjoy this story, you'll probably enjoy my book because I like telling true stories in a fun and creative way. Man, there we go. All right, here we go. My daughter Juanita loves the movie Frozen, and the other day she had the opportunity to meet Elsa. Between you and me, it wasn't the real Elsa. It was just an actress playing the character, but I didn't tell her. Now, in order to understand the travesty that is about to befall Juanita, you need to know the basic plot of Frozen. So in case you haven't seen it, highly recommended by the way, Elsa has these powers that she can't control, and everything Elsa touches turns to ice. So, anyway, at the event, they're giving out these balloon animals. Fun stuff. Juanita loves it. On the way home, however, in the car, without a dash cam running, Juanita's balloon popped. It was in this moment, as every parent knows, it's going to go one of 2 ways. We're either going to laugh it off and move on to the next thing, or we're going to have an epic meltdown. Unfortunately, it was quickly clear it was the latter. Being the creative father that I am, I tried to spin the story and make it positive. I said, oh my goodness, I think Elsa gave you her powers. Just like everything Elsa touches freezes, now that you touched the balloon, it must have frozen, and that's why it popped. You have powers just like Elsa. I thought it was a great twist. What kid wouldn't want magical powers like a Disney princess? Well, apparently mine. What I did not see coming was the fact that I scared the absolute shit out of my daughter. If we were headed for a meltdown before, her face said now we were about to hit a volcanic explosion. And then she erupted. How do I get rid of Elsa's powers? Don't touch me. I will freeze you. Somebody fix me. And it was in that moment I knew I fucked up. And at the same time, I was pretty impressed with my daughter's ability to make that connection. It's really good. She could follow along with the plot of Frozen and understand what's going on and the implication of having Elsa's powers. That said, we just have to work on now understanding what make-believe is. I'd be lying if I told you I knew how I wriggled my way out of it. Between all the screaming and the crying, I sort of blacked out, but eventually something I said calmed it down. Though I don't know how effective it was because later that night, as I was holding another balloon, her sister's balloon, that balloon popped and Juanita broke down yet again. Oh no, I gave Daddy Elsa's powers. I'm sorry. So yeah, it would have been cool to have that moment on Dashcam. Would have been the kind of home video that would have us in tears years from now. So I really enjoyed that. Yeah, like I said, I wrote that. Full disclosure, I can't lie. I can't say that it was some entry. But I just wanted to share that story. I enjoyed it. If you enjoyed that story, let me rephrase that. If you enjoyed that style of storytelling, that's what my book is like. Except dealing with, instead of emotional toddlers, it's with drunken adults, which surprisingly is a very similar interaction. Well, that's all I got for today. Let me catch up on these comments. I also had, I don't know if you saw this, but again, I wrote this. I shared this personal story because I was a little unsure of how much content I would have. I also had on backup that maybe I'll share next week if we don't get any entries or a lot of entries. I asked ChatGPT. I prompted ChatGPT, said, "You are an Uber driver and you don't have a dash camera. You're submitting a true story regard." Basically, I told ChatGPT to enter into this contest, and it gave me. I asked for 3 stories. It gave the Phantom Vomit, it gave the Great Pants Escape, and it gave 2 Brides No Chill. 2 of them. One of them was good, one of them was meh, and one of them really sucked. So I don't know if you guys are into AI. I'm really into it. So maybe I'll read that next week. It's interesting just seeing the output that it gives to me, and like how it's like right now, at least. Maybe it'll change. Who knows what'll happen to it. But there's just like being an Uber driver and knowing what's real. It's really interesting to me to see the story it gives, because it's like, it's like a virtual reality reel. Like, it's like what you would think a movie is. And it just makes me think that like everything we're gearing towards is like gonna miss that authenticity, because everything is gonna be concocted by this AI that thinks it is, that knows the human experience through movies and content and stuff, and it's just not real life. But that's my little digression. Let me catch up on these comments, and I got Shing Big. I really appreciate the 2 books that were downloaded. I have a feeling that there's going to be a third before next week. So I want to hear what Mark said. Screenshot over the ride. Oh, geez, that would do it. So back to Mark's story. It was en route to his drop-off in a rural area, deep woods. My mind went crazy. My mind was going crazy. Like he's going to do something, and he didn't say anything. Dude, I would not enjoy that ride. That's a tough one, man. Of course, nobody likes driving in bad parts of the city. But I'll tell you what, man, I'm more scared of like nowhere's land in the middle of the woods than I am in the city. I always say, at least in the city, someone can hear me scream. Well, I'm glad you're okay. That would have tripped me out. Oh, snap. Oh, my. Dude, this is wild. Yo, you are the best. Thank you so much. Got the memo. That counts as 3. And I didn't realize that it all makes sense now. The unicorn +1. Vaquero's the +1. So, listen, Vaquero, I really hope you submit that story. Best dash camera footage. I'll read it next week. And, who knows what other stories will be submitted. I keep looking at the chat. The camera's here. Who knows what other stories will be submitted. But, an actual assault in the Uber is... it's going to rank up there. So thank you very, very much for the support. Got 3 books, 2 of which were from the same household. And Peter, appreciate you coming through. Not just with the download, but the media theorist encouragement. And Uber and Lyft drivers in Massachusetts can now unionize. Collective bargaining. First in the country. I'm interested to see how that goes. I'm really interested. Cool stuff. Well, hey, guys, really appreciate you coming out. I will be here next Friday. I got a tennis match that I need to go dominate, that I will be extremely motivated now because I hit my goal of 3 books. And, you guys are the absolute best. And Unicorn, if you want to, you can email the dash cam footage. I appreciate the Venmo support, you know, with no strings attached, but I would love to send you a physical copy to go along with your audiobook, even if it's just, you know, something to give out as well. I really appreciate the Venmo. So if you want to send that, just send me the email with your address or, oh, you know what? You can comment on the Venmo. Yeah, just comment on the Venmo with your address so I know to send it. And yeah, I really, really appreciate it. I would love to send you a copy to go along with your audiobook. Happy Friday indeed. Thanks for coming out, guys. I really appreciate it. Mark, I'm glad you're okay. And yeah, I will catch you next week. All right. See you next Friday. Later. Stuff, you know.